Are these acoustic guitars really just as good as a Martin D-28? Hey everybody, Jayce Allan here, welcome back to the channel. A couple of months ago, I released a video titled, "This Guitar Destroys a Martin D-28." And if you're thinking, wow, what a clickbait title, you'd be absolutely right. It was a clickbait title, and you know what? It worked. Almost too good. This video was a review of the Journey Instruments JCD-422. JCD meaning Journey Comfort Dread. It's a dreadnought style guitar that features a tapered lower bout, making it fit under your arm better, hence the term comfort. When I went to post that video, I was struggling to come up with a decent title. In fact, that video wasn't even a comparison between the JCD-422 and the Martin D-28. I barely even mentioned the Martin D-28 in that video. So why the clickbait title? Well, after being a YouTuber for going on 5 years now, I've learned that if you don't put a title on your video that will turn heads and make people click on the video, you might as well not even post it. People like to claim that the algorithm decides what people watch, but that's not the case. The algorithm merely responds to what people click on the most. If I had put a title on that video like, "I review the JCD-422 and it's awesome," my total views on that video would probably be less than 2,000. Right now, that video currently has the third most views out of all my other videos, and one of those videos has been on my channel for 2 years. So if you hate clickbait, blame the viewers, not the algorithm. Because if people didn't click on a video with a clickbait style title, YouTube wouldn't push those videos out to more and more people who will also click on them. So what's the deal? Does the JCD-422 destroy the Martin D-28? I guess it would depend on your definition of destroy.
I even named them Des and Troy. You see, when you put them together, they destroy.
Obviously, I was being hyperbolic, and frankly, like I said, the video wasn't even meant as a comparison between the Journey Comfort Dread 422 and the D-28. But this video is. So because of all the comments claiming that I needed to, and I quote, "clean the shit out of my ears," and that I'm a moron and that I'm tone deaf, among other things, I decided to get a D-28 and shoot it out against not only the Journey JCD-422, but also the Antonio Giuliani DN-5 that I reviewed, and just for fun, we'll throw in my Eastman AC GACE-1 concert style acoustic. So let's talk specs. In this corner, weighing in at 4.6 pounds, is the reigning champion, the Martin D-28. The D-28 features a neck joined to the body at the 14th fret, a solid spruce top, solid East Indian rosewood back and side, scalloped X bracing herringbone top trim with multi-stripe inlay and zigzag back stripe, a one-piece mahogany medium C-shaped neck with an unbound ebony fretboard and bridge, a 25 2/5 inch scale length, and a 1 11/16 inch nut, and a 16 inch fretboard radius. And in this corner, weighing in at 4.3 pounds, is the challenger, the Journey Instruments JCD-422. The 422 features neck joined at the body at the 14th fret, a solid spruce top, solid Indian rosewood back and side, forward shifted tapered X bracing, wood binding top and back, herringbone zigzag stripe in the back, a 3-piece mahogany medium C-shaped neck with an unbound ebony fretboard and bridge, a 25.5 inch scale length, and a 1 11/16 inch nut, and a 16 inch fretboard radius. The Journey JCD-422 also features a wedge design that angles the guitar into your body, which places the guitar in a comfortable position for fingerboard access and viewing. So one of the comments that I received on that original video was that the guitar didn't sound very good, that it lacked the bottom end of a Martin D-28. Martin D-28s are very famous for their sort of low, deep sound, and that, I think, is because of the rosewood back and sides. Rosewood back and sides on an acoustic guitar tend to be a deeper tone than, say, a mahogany back and sides. And while the Journey Instrument guitar does feature a solid rosewood back and sides, my recording of that guitar didn't really highlight or showcase that bottom end. And one of the problems is because when I recorded that video, I didn't like the way it sounded. To me, it sounded too boomy and boxy, and I had a real hard time getting the tone that I wanted out of the recording. I mean, it sounded great here in the room, but trying to get that same tone into the recording just wasn't working. So what I ended up doing was I recorded it and then I ran it through an equalizer, and that really screwed things up because it took a lot of the bottom end. I put too much, high end in it because I wanted it to be brighter, and so admittedly I kind of messed up. So for this particular comparison, what I did was I set up an SM57 and a large diaphragm condenser microphone, pointed it at the 12th fret of the guitar, sat about 18 to 20 inches away from it, and just played. So what you're hearing in those samples is the raw audio from those microphones. I did split them a little bit. I panned them left and right a little bit so you get a little bit of that stereo separation, but for the most part, what you're hearing is what you're getting, and I think it sounds pretty good. It's still got a little bit of a boxiness to it. I don't know. I've really struggled to try to get good acoustic tone when recording. I'm sure people will tell me what I'm doing wrong in the comments. So now, does the JCD-422 destroy the Martin D-28? Well, let's set aside the word destroy for a minute and just talk about how these two guitars sound in relation to one another. I think they're pretty similar. I think the Journey Instrument guitar is a little brighter, maybe. I almost think the Journey Instrument guitar sounds a little cleaner, like it has a clearer tone to it, whereas the Martin is more, I don't want to say muddy, but like just darker, like it's got a deeper tone to it, which maybe what you're after. So really, when you're comparing guitars, it's it's hard to say that one guitar is so much better than another. Obviously, if you played a guitar and it sounded like you were playing a cardboard box because it had laminated sides and laminated top and the strings were bad and it was just a really bad guitar, you'd be able to notice the difference. But to my ears, and people really criticize me in the comments about this, I really can't tell much of a difference between these two guitars. I will point out that the strings are different manufacturers. I'm not sure what strings are on the Journey. I put fresh strings on that and fresh strings on the Martin guitar. I chose Martin strings for the Martin guitar. I guess I could have put new strings on all the guitars, but I really didn't feel like wasting strings, in my opinion, because I just put new strings on these. So now we're going to compare to the Antonio Giuliani DN-5, and this guitar has a solid cedar top, but laminated back and sides. And I was surprised doing this video that guitar really holds its own against these two other guitars. So then I will say that a Martin D-28, okay, so let me sort of frame this conversation. This D-28 is from 1994, so it's a good, what is it? I'm terrible at math. Let me figure it out real quick. So that guitar's 32 years old. So is that considered vintage? And the Journey Instrument is brand new. It was made, what, this year, last year, and then the Antonio Giuliani guitar is a couple years old. And then my Eastman, which we'll play in a minute, is from 2017. So, you know, the Martin should be broken in. Everybody talks about, oh, it's, you know, it's got to be broken in. It's got to, you know, the more you play it, the longer it's, you know, it'll be broken in. So the other two guitars obviously aren't broken in. But anyway, so the Martin is an older guitar. So I'm not sure what specs are nowadays. I've owned a couple D-28s, and one of them had the Rich Light fretboard on it, which I was kind of disappointed with. That's the pressed fiberboard because they stopped. I don't know. I don't know if they're making ebony fretboards now again, or if they're still doing the Rich Light or whatever. But anyway, and the Antonio Giuliani has a rosewood fretboard, and then the Eastman also has a rosewood fretboard. And the Eastman is a solid Sitka spruce. Say that three times fast. And solid mahogany back and sides. And I didn't put new strings on that one, so they're, I don't know, they're not that old, but they're not fresh either. And that's another thing that impacts the tone of an acoustic guitar is fresh strings. I got a friend that runs a recording studio, and he does not like fresh strings on a guitar when you're recording it because it's got that real jangly, sort of chimey sound to it. He'd rather have strings that are a little more broken in. So strings can affect the tone, humidity. Today is, I don't know, it's kind of warm outside. I turned off the air conditioner upstairs. I turned off the dehumidifier and the air filter down here in my studio. It's a little warm down here, I'm not gonna lie. It's probably a good, I don't know, 74 degrees down here. So, so that can also impact tone. It seems like one of the things that I did while chasing my acoustic guitar tone was I would buy a guitar. I would play, like with the Eastman, I went to Elderly Instruments in Lansing to buy that guitar, played every single guitar in there. I didn't, you know, I went in with a certain budget and didn't care about brand or whatever, played every guitar in there. That's the one I picked out, took it home, brought it to my, you know, this is before I was in this studio, and I didn't like the way it sounded. So the room that you play your guitar in is also going to impact the tone. So when we're really arguing about tone and how good a guitar sounds, I mean, it's really subjective, and it depends on the guitar. I mean, each instrument is a unique thing. It's going to have its own sonic qualities. People in the comments said, that they went through a few guitars before they found the one that they really liked. I've heard that about Gibson guitars too, Gibson Les Pauls, that you really have to sort of hunt down the one that's perfect, which, that can get frustrating. And if you're trying to find tone, a certain tone, like the tone that you hear in your head or the tone that you hear on an album, and you go through guitars and then you hear a good guitar in the store and then you bring it home, that sometimes you can be disappointed. But anyway, enough rambling. Let's get to the other two guitars, see how those compare. Okay, so there you go. There's all four guitars together, kind of side-by-side comparison. I will say that the guitars with the, Antonio Giuliani with the laminated back and sides has a brighter tone to it, and the Eastman guitar, which has solid mahogany back and sides, but it's also a concert-shaped body, also has a bit brighter tone. But I think the Antonio Giuliani and the Eastman pretty much sound the same, and the Journey Instruments and the Martin D-28 sound pretty close. Like I said, the Martin has a little bit deeper tone to it, but I think the Journey actually sounds cleaner than the Martin D-28. You know, again, it's personal preference, really. I mean, I know people in the comments are going to swear up and down that the Martin sounds like miles better than these other guitars. I just don't see it. I think if people were being honest with themselves and honest with everybody else, they would go, yeah, there's not a whole lot of difference. You know, Martin is an iconic brand. People get really, really emotionally attached to these brands, and they get really, really pissed off when you dare to compare their their favorite brand to another brand, especially if it's inexpensive and especially if it's an imported guitar. Cost-wise, right now, Martin D-28s are going for over $3,000. This particular one I got used off of Reverb for just over $2,000. I think it was $2,000, but then there was shipping and of course tax and everything. So I actually bought the receipt and everything is in the case, and I think the receipt said it was $1,900 when it was bought. So I actually paid more for it than what it sold for brand new, which is supposedly what, you know, people always say, oh, resale value, resale value, resale value. So in the Martin came with a case, hard shell case. The Journey Instrument guitar came with a hard shell case. The Journey Instrument guitar is $999.99, so $1,000. The Antonio Giuliani guitars right now are $329.99, and they include a soft case. And then the Eastman that I've, you know, back in 2017, I paid, I think, $600 for that, if I'm not mistaken. Those guitars are probably going for maybe about the same, $400 to $600. So I wouldn't exactly call the Journey Instrument guitar a budget guitar. I would definitely call the Antonio Giuliani a budget guitar. I wish I had a Yamaha acoustic to shoot out with these guitars, because Yamaha makes some incredible guitars. Even their laminated guitars sound amazing, and you can pick up those, especially if you get used, you can pick those up for a couple $100. So anyway, there you go. I'm going to leave it up to you guys to fight it out in the comments about whether whether one sounds better than the other. Obviously, guitars don't destroy one another because they're inanimate objects. But anyway, I just wanted to do an honest shootout. Oh, another thing that people get irritated with is that I'm not a fingerstyle player. I don't play bluegrass. I don't play that style guitar. I can't. I don't have the skill to do that. So many people got irritated in the comments, basically saying that they can't take my reviews seriously because I don't know how to play, which is not true. I do know how to play. I'm just not an advanced player. I've been playing for a long time, but my skills have just kind of plateaued, and there you go. It is what it is. But I would argue that most people playing guitar aren't, they're not awesome. A lot of us play mediocre for the rest of our lives, our whole lives. But a lot of us are also, and this is the way I thought when I started playing guitar, is that if I could just get an XYZ guitar, then I will sound so much better. And I think that's where I was at. I wanted a Taylor. I got a Taylor, and it wasn't a great guitar. It actually had some quality defects, so I ended up getting rid of it. And then I had a Martin D-28, and I'm like, well, this doesn't sound any different than my other guitars. And I point that out in some of my videos, and people are like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about because you obviously can't hear. Well, I guess I can't. But, what I'm trying to do with these comparisons is show you that, you're going to sound like yourself no matter what guitar you pick up. If I pick up a D-28 and play it and people say, oh, that sucks, in the comments, they're obviously not going to blame the guitar. They're going to say that it's me, that I'm the one that's making that guitar sound bad. In a way, that's true. I mean, you know, everybody always says it's in the fingers, it's in the fingers. Well, it's not the fingers. It's a combination of the instrument and the person playing it. Obviously, you can't just sit down and play with no instrument, so it's not in the fingers. It's, you know, it's a combination of your skill. And some people can just make any guitar sound amazing because they have that skill. Especially when it comes to like playing finger style, you know, Tommy Emmanuel style, you know, really fast, impressive playing. People tend to be impressed by that. They tend to think that that sounds good. That person could be holding any guitar out there and they would make it sound amazing. Well, people of you know, intermediate players and beginner players, they're going to pick up the most expensive guitar in the world and it's still going to sound kind of basic. And so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to, you know, show people that, you know, these expensive guitars, I mean, they're great guitars, don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking Martin. I'm not saying that you shouldn't buy a Martin. If you want to buy a Martin, go ahead. But if you think that buying a Martin or buying a higher end guitar is going to somehow elevate your playing and make you play so much better, I don't think it is. My opinion. It's not a very popular opinion, but I think it's true. I think if you spend a ton of money on a guitar and you don't have the skills and abilities, you know, that an advanced player has, you're not going to sound any better than you did on your budget guitar. Now, obviously, with acoustic guitars, there is a threshold. I mean, you can get into some really cheap laminated guitars that just sound awful. And they do sound awful. They just sound really boxy. They don't resonate. They just don't have a good sound. I would recommend anything with a solid top. Solid back and sides is a plus, but it's not. I mean, they're making some pretty great guitars that have laminated back and sides. I think the top is the most important part when it comes to an acoustic guitar. Obviously, you want good tuners because you want that fine tuning capability. And yeah, decent strings, I guess. Other than that, it's like, I don't know, you can find some really great guitars out there for not a lot of money. So anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll see you again next time.